Minimize your bad debts with these key tips. So I think number one, before you sort of start doing the work, make sure you have everything agreed in writing. You have some kind of contract or legal agreement. It could even be email sometimes, but if there's a dispute, it will come back to whatever you've written out before, basically. So you should have clear terms that, this is the price, this is how much you're going to get paid. If something goes wrong, or if the project doesn't finish, this is the money that you will get. And then second thing is, if you're doing a big job, I would say try to get some money up front. So a lot of our clients, they'll charge like one third, for example. They'll have milestones during the contract, so as they do work, they get paid. What we do most of the time is for our audits, especially the big ones, we'll say we need to get paid before we sign off the audit report. Obviously, if you're doing this kind of thing, you're not going to have debtors in the first place, right? People will be paying before they get the service or as they get the service. Um, so that's the ideal thing. But a lot of the time we have to invoice on credit. We give an invoice, so they've got 30 days to pay. That's like the standard thing for most of our clients and for us as well. So when you're invoicing on credit, I'd say obviously you can look into your customers' history and background. You can ask for references. I mean, there's a limit to that because if someone wants to cheat you, they're going to cheat you, right? But what I found in my experience is the vast majority of people are not out to dodge payments. They might have forgotten. They might be getting busy. They might be maybe the cash flow is tight. They're going to pay who they're shouting the loudest, but they are going to pay because most people realize that if you don't pay in this country, there's consequences. Um, but there are some people who are basically, you know, dodgy business people. They're out to, they're not going to pay you. They've got no intention of paying you. They can't pay you. The bullshit artists. I think over the years you just figure out who these kind of people are. Like when you talk to them, you understand like how to find these people. But let's just say now you've raised the invoice, then you've given 30 days to pay. Then what should you do? It's just basically sort of credit control. So obviously make sure that your bookkeeping is up to date. So anytime when you look at the accounts, you know that yeah, this is your debtors ledger. These are the people that owe you money. And then when it's getting closer to due date, send out reminders. Due date goes past, still haven't paid, send out follow-ups, and then you can keep a record of these in your invoicing system or your bookkeeping. Like you sent this email on this date. Some of them will do it automatically as well. So you check, you sort of regularly chase it, and then when it's like overdue, then you start saying, oh, this is overdue now. Can you pay urgently or pay as soon as possible? And then you just basically escalate it. Now the thing is, there's a balance here because some clients, they're happy with your service. They do want to pay you, but for whatever reason, they're being slow. And maybe they've got a million things on their mind. So if you're like too aggressive, you can piss people off, and they might go to other suppliers or providers. So that's why you don't want to go to like legal action straight away because if you threaten legal action, say I've had a client for 5 years and they just didn't pay for a few months or something, and I just straight away threaten legal action. Um, there might be a reason why they haven't paid. Um, so you just see it, but when it gets to a stage, I would say yeah, if it's if you're not getting any response as well, you're chasing it, you're not getting any response. Um, yeah, then you start the legal action process, and you can't just go to court straight away. Basically, normally there'll be like a letter before action. Okay, if you don't, this is like a formal notice. If you don't pay within a certain time, we're going to start the legal process, and then after that, there'll be another letter. It's a bit stronger, and then eventually, then you start going to court. So I'm not going to talk about that because I haven't really ever had to do it myself. But there's, that we don't get involved in that. Also, you need to get lawyers to help you with that side of it. But I think if you follow sort of good credit control, you're chasing the email, you're chasing the debtors through email. You can find them as well. Um, you shouldn't need to go to court too often.